Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. In today's video, we've got two parts to this video here because the Chelsea news kind of ties in to the preview that we're going to do for Aston Villa. So it's a slightly longer news video slash preview video. If you do enjoy it in this format, hit the like button on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new and haven't already done so. We begin by talking about Enzo Fernandez. And I want to just make sure that you guys are aware here that even though I wouldn't be surprised if Enzo Fernandez was actually looking to leave Chelsea, I actually don't believe any of this news whatsoever. The news right now regarding Enzo Fernandez at Chelsea is that Enzo is considering his Chelsea future. Apparently, his agent is currently trying to sound out potential moves away from Chelsea. This here comes from Simon Phillips. Contrary to some reports, Enzo Fernandez is not reconsidering his Chelsea future. He is hurting due to the club's recent form and is committed to working hard to improve both personally and as a team. And the reason I wanted to just shed a bit of light on the Enzo part of this story today is that right now, with Chelsea being a topic that everybody is talking about, mainstream media, YouTube, well, not that it's much different anymore, there's a lot more people watching YouTube than the television, but most people right now are talking about Chelsea. Whether it's Chelsea fans with our disgust, dismay and our opinions, or other football fans talking about Chelsea is interesting. Sacking another manager, FFP, £1 billion spent, and look where they are. Chelsea the topic of conversation. Enzo's a £100 million player. Fully expect between now and Chelsea's fortunes changing, expect to hear that every single player wants to leave and that their agent is looking at moves away from Chelsea. Expect it and don't believe everything that you read. So, speaking of believing everything that we read, unfortunately, Pochettino's comments in a recorded press conference, there isn't really much we can do. We can't blame taking things out of context. We can't say, well, I wonder if that's actually what he said, but the write-up says this, but did he actually say that? Pochettino is now digging himself even bigger into a hole from the press conference to the build-up to this Aston Villa game. I can't play the press conference because I won't be able to monetize my video, but we're going to talk about a couple of top-line things here that have been discussed by Pochettino in that press conference. And the first one is absolutely mind-blowing to me, that he can have the audacity to come out and say, well, I don't understand that Chelsea can lose 4-1 to Liverpool, Liverpool 4 days later lose 3-1 to Arsenal, and no one's talking about Liverpool in the same breath. Is this bloke all right? Is he okay? Do we need to go and test his temperature and give him a face mask before he walks into Villa Park? Is it that bad? I don't understand how you can even consider bringing into your lips the name of a team that have actually won the Premier League recently, playing under one of the best managers in the world, competing this season for a Premier League title, to think for 1 second that Liverpool deserve even an ounce of the same critique that Chelsea deserve for that feeble display at Anfield when Liverpool simply lose for only the second time this season. We've lost twice in 4 days. These lot have only lost twice all year. And one of those you could even question they shouldn't even deserve to have lost. But poor VAR and officiating. Pochettino, Mauricio, mate, I've got to tell you something, all right? Bringing up comments like this and comparing how unfair it is that Chelsea get this criticism and other clubs don't, that is absolutely not your job, mate. It is not okay to turn around and try and compare the levels that criticism should be directed towards Chelsea and Liverpool when Liverpool are literally 10 times better than we are. In every department, manager, he's better than you, mate. Every department of the pitch, Liverpool are better than Chelsea. We don't want to hear that. There's no such thing right now as an excuse. We don't want to hear comparative, oh, but it's a bit like that. No. All we want to see is something different. If you want to be considered a good manager, your job right now is to admit that what you've done is wrong. The same that in the past 2 videos I've said that what Chelsea need to do is remove egos, change everything. because everything up until this point hasn't worked, so it needs to be a fresh start. And Pochettino has the opportunity, and we're going to build a Chelsea team in a moment for my 11 against Aston Villa. Make something up. Do something different. We've gone with 4 at the back. It's not worked. We can see 2+ goals every game, 8 in 5 days. So let's try a 3 at the back system. We're going to build my Chelsea 11 in a moment. But it wasn't just that. Throughout the whole press conference, Pochettino he looks as though he's putting on a facade right now. He looks as though that he's being directed from those above him at the club to try and save face for Chelsea and the bigger picture. Pochettino is the puppet on the string at this point in time. You can also throw back the Ben Chilwell comments after that Wolves defeat, where he basically admitted that the whole team gave up at Stamford Bridge against Wolves, which is unacceptable. You never want to hear that from the Chelsea captain right now because Reece James is out. But overall, there just seems to be so much acceptance for the painstaking mediocrity that we're suffering from game by game right now. Pochettino was also kind of squashing the stuff that happened with Thiago Silva's wife. He said that Thiago Silva came to him in his office and everything is good. Again, he's not going to say anything different. If Thiago Silva isn't picked or isn't in the squad and he's not injured, then you know that that's a lie. But overall, Pochettino's pre-match comments here against Villa, I think have just made him look stupid. It doesn't fill me with any confidence. Yes, he was coming across relatively confident, saying that we're all together and we want to fix all of this, but like, what else is he going to say? You know, it's at this point now where I can't really say that I expect anything else. On the flip side though, interim managers. Let's just play a hypothetical scenario. I just want to clarify something here. I don't want Chelsea to not win because I want Pochettino gone. I want Chelsea to win every single match. I hope from tonight onwards, we win 15 games in a row and Poch is still in the job. That is my preference if I had to choose. However, Aston Villa away, the way that Villa have played all season long, I would not be surprised if we lose by 3, 4, 5 goals tonight. I wouldn't be shocked whatsoever because they're that much better than we are. If they do, I said it was untenable after Villa. At the moment, the news is that Pochettino's job is safe. Pochettino's job is secure. But I'm telling you right now, if Chelsea get battered, humbled tonight at Villa Park, sack Pochettino and bring Jose Mourinho in as an interim manager until the end of the season. As much as I love Jose Mourinho, even though he's been at Tottenham, he's been at Man United, 2 stints at Chelsea, fired in both of them. I think Jose Mourinho, as much as he is a dinosaur and he's too old and he's outdated, I think Mourinho, the profile of him as a manager doesn't work with our young squad. Of course not, with the project that Chelsea have. But interim until the end of the season, I think it's better than simply just allowing everything to fester the way that it is right now under Pochettino. Pochettino's not inspiring the players. Pochettino isn't trying to get the best out of the players right now because it's the same monotonous patterns. The training ground, players are desperate to leave after training. This is a massive problem. Jose Mourinho loves and adores Chelsea Football Club. Roma fans in tears after he was sacked. They didn't want him gone. There's a load of politics involved in Italy right now as to why Jose Mourinho is no longer the Roma manager. I don't think Mourinho should be the manager long term because I do think it will end in disaster. Bunch of young players, a brand new structure at Chelsea Football Club that is pushing for youth and it has to be this, it's all a load of nonsense, but like Mourinho's not the long-term guy. But get someone in right now who is also hurting when it comes to seeing Chelsea the way that we are. Yesterday's video, I talk about emotional detachment. There's nobody that cares at the club enough right now to feel the pain that you and I feel right now. Jose Mourinho is one of those guys. And he's a motivator. Even if a lot of players that have played under him apparently are like, oh, it's so boring, it's this and it's this. The guy wins finals. The guy wins trophies. And if he comes in now, maybe there's enough about Mourinho to even get this crop of very average players ready to do something against Liverpool. So I'm not going to talk about it too much more because I know I've lost half of the audience here when I say Jose Mourinho back to Chelsea. on an interim basis. I have to keep repeating that because otherwise people are going to think that I see a long-term vision for it. Unless you win every game that he's in charge between now and the end of the season, and then everyone will be like, okay, maybe this is not a bad idea after all. But without any further ado, I'm going to pick my Chelsea starting 11 here that I hope can change the narrative slightly for the rest of this week at least until Crystal Palace on Monday night. We begin, of course, with the goalkeeper, Petrovic. He's conceding tons of goals. It's because of the defence in front of him. One thing that I would say is the most alarming about the way that Chelsea have been playing and conceding goals is how weak we look. We look so lightweight compared to every team that we're coming up against in the Premier League. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's been Petrovic's fault. I think there's nothing he can really do about the Villa goals. We move into a back three. And look, I'm not going to lie to you. The way that we have seen Chelsea just tactically inept, incapable apparently of taking on instructions this season, I don't expect this to work immediately, but we need to stop conceding goals. So putting 3 centre-backs in the team, you would think by just basic logic, should alleviate some of that pressure. So Disasi, Silva, Badiashile as 3 of the only fit centre-backs at the club right now. I would say Alfie Gilchrist. We could see Gilchrist in that defence. I really want to see him in there. I don't want to see players playing for Chelsea who don't want to be here anymore or who never wanted to really care about it in the first place. Gilchrist is not in that same category and bracket of footballer. But I would say that this is probably the most likely in a brand new system if Pochettino is indeed to make the drastic changes that he desperately needs to do to try and strike some kind of change and chord and tune out of these Chelsea players. We move further up the field. I have made it very, very abundantly clear here on GBFC that Sterling, Mudryk, Madueke, no, these players are absolutely not for me. So, lo and behold, none of them are playing. I've got to stick by what I believe right now. There's a lot of people that will agree and disagree with a lot of the things that I say. And as much as this looks like an unbelievably defensive lineup, where do the goals come from? It's conceding that we need to try and stop right now. So for that, I've gone with Gusto, Enzo, Caicedo, and Chilwell. It's absolutely not ideal. I don't think this is going to be anywhere near the same levels of quality that we saw from an Antonio Conte Chelsea title-winning 2017 team. Absolutely not. But I do think here, we've just got to try and protect the number one issue right now on the pitch, which is we're just leaking so many goals that we might as well just turn off the tap. Do you know what I mean? It's so poor. It's so bad. You cannot just keep going around conceding 4, conceding 4, conceding 4, and keep the manager in a job. You know, you can't fire all the players mid-season with the January transfer window shut. We're desperate here. And we move into a front three that includes Cole Palmer, Christopher Nkunku, and Carney Chukwuemeka. When you're looking at this team, do I think this is a good enough starting 11 to beat Aston Villa at Villa Park, a team that have been absolutely unbelievable at home? Yes, they recently lost 3-1 at home to Newcastle United in the Premier League, but realistically, I think there's no chance here today for Chelsea. And that is me being as honest as I possibly can. Having seen the capitulation at Anfield, having seen beyond the capitulation at Stamford Bridge in the 4-2 defeat to Wolves, there is not a single ounce of me that is confident that we can knock out Aston Villa here and get through to the 5th round, which would be at home, by the way. I think it's Leeds or Plymouth in the 5th round or last 16. This could be massive for us if we do win. I just don't think that we will. My score prediction, sorry guys, I really don't think we're going to win. My score prediction is 3-1 Aston Villa. I really don't want to be so negative, and I'm praying that we can talk about the football in 6 things we learned after this game tonight, and I can say that Pochettino changed this and then we saw this reaction. Not just for this season, but we desperately need to see a reaction here, because if we don't see a reaction, then it keeps coming to, well, we should sell all the players because nobody is good enough and no one cares enough to want to change it. So I want to see performances start to be about drive, passion, like fight. Don't give up. Don't have the captain coming out in press conferences after losing to Wolves at home saying, yeah, well, I think they just wanted it more than us. Yeah, well, obviously, mate. But admitting that you lot don't really give a shit is not what the supporters want to hear after you keep on showing that game after game after game. So Chelsea are desperate. Absolutely desperate. Many would say that we are already past the point of rock bottom. I would say that we are basically a rock at the bottom of the ocean, just like nestling into the sand. It's flipping gross, isn't it? But anyway, let me know your thoughts on the Mourinho potential interim, Pochettino's embarrassing press conference comments. He's lying to us, guys. It's nonsense, as if he's being told what to say. I promise you, he's being told what to say from those above him, and he's trying to like save some face, thinking that Chelsea fans will just, you know, lap it up and move on. Nah, mate, sorry, you're embarrassing yourself, and you're an embarrassment to the club. Hopefully we get the result tonight, though. Come on, you Blues.